Hello and welcome back to Emily's Game. I've got something really cool I want to talk about. The new United newspaper article that is in the 4.3.1 PTU screen. I don't talk about these too much. I do check them out when they do come out, but I've been kind of exploring the lore of Star Citizen more and more, and I'm finding some really cool stuff in these articles. So I'm going to go over each one. I want to do some speculation. I want to get your thoughts on these. I want to give you some of my thoughts as well. So let's dig into this. CIG loves to slip secrets into the verse. They're not just in patch notes, but in the world and the lore. And they're hidden a lot of the time, much like a lot of the features that we come across that, aren't very apparent to us. One of the best examples is these new United broadcasts. They look like background fluff, but they're actually loaded with lore hints and potential gameplay teasers. So today I'm going to break down the latest edition, covering terraforming mistakes, protests brewing on Terra, the desperate need for first responders, the mysterious burning sky, and a list of the most pirated ships. Each of these could shape the future of Star Citizen. I'm not sure if that's actual, but it could be cool. Let's talk about it. First up, friends, is terraforming. This article talks about the rise of re-terraforming companies, fixing worlds that didn't quite turn out right. One real example in game that we already have is MicroTech, which is Stanton 4. Terraforming began in the late 2800s after the system was sold to the UEE in 2865, but that process went sideways. It left the planet far colder and stormier than intended. The failure was such a big deal that it was even debated through the UEE Senate. MicroTech has tried to patch these mistakes ever since. They even genetically engineered an apex predator called the boreal stalker to fill the top of the food chain and help balance the ecosystem. I did not know this. I just learned this today, actually, as I was doing my research. But even with these interventions, MicroTech still stands as one of the UEE's best-known terraforming failures. I'm sure there's others. I haven't found any yet. But if you know of them, let me know. Maybe this new United article is hinting at tech changes baked into lore. We've already seen CIG rework clouds, lighting, and biomes patch by patch. What if re-terraforming is a way of explaining planetary upgrades inside the story? Imagine logging in after a patch and finding MicroTech storms weaker or stronger. Entire new valleys cut open with rivers running through them. Settlements thawed out, unlocking archaeology-style gameplay where you uncover what was buried beneath the ice from other civilizations that might have been here before us. Maybe even New Babbage itself becomes a desolate ruined city, no longer the hub we know today. These could be reality if they try to re-terraform a planet that failed its terraformization. I think that's a word. It is now. All right, friends, the next article is about Terra General Regen protests resuming. And that's a big deal in Star Citizen's lore. For years, Terra has been seen as the rising star of humanity, newer, wealthier, more advanced than Earth. A lot of people think that Terra should actually replace Earth as the capital of the UEE. And of course, that's not something Earth loyalists are happy about. But why does this matter to us? Because it could set up factional gameplay, political missions, story-driven conflicts. If and when Terra eventually comes online, I don't think it'll just be another pretty planet or system. It will bring with it a storyline of division and unrest, possibly, and maybe missions where players have to choose a side. The new United piece feels like a seed planted now for drama that will bloom later, so that'll be interesting to see. All right, friends, this is an exciting article for a lot of us because it's sort of the introduction to the two Apollo variants that we're going to be getting here really, really soon. Maybe within the next, week and a half? I would imagine at the end of Pirate Week, but I'm not sure. So, this article, Empire desperate for first responders. Apparently ambulance pilots and medics are in short supply across the UEE. This feels like a direct nod to gameplay. We all know there's more gameplay coming to the medical side, but how much? We know we're getting the two Apollos, and healing mechanics are already in place, along with the new med gel. But there's room for so much more. What if this article is foreshadowing a whole new wave of medical contracts, emergency beacon pickups that pay more the faster you arrive? Reputation systems where being a reliable medic unlocks bigger payouts or even exclusive gear, kind of like we have with the ASD Onyx facilities right now, which is pretty cool if you ask me. Maybe even large-scale disaster events. And get this sounds exciting to me, where players coordinate as fleets of rescue ships evacuating civilians or stabilizing a battlefield. Here's a thought, and this is a fun thought for me. What if first responders aren't just for combat zones? Picture med ships racing into planetary disasters, failed terraforming sites, or even protests that turn violent. That could even be how CIG starts to introduce early passenger-style contracts, transporting wounded civilians, evacuees, or even protesters caught in the chaos. Suddenly, the medical career path isn't just dragging your friends to a tier 1, 2, or 3 bed, it's a fully fledged profession woven into the fabric of the verse. I don't think this is a question of if anymore. CIG is already leaning into medical gameplay. The real question is how deep they'll let us go. Will medical stay a support role or evolve into one of the core career paths that can define your place in the verse? Just imagine, friends, evacuating an entire planet by way of your med ships and your capital ships, coming together in a global event with everybody out there for a good cause. Hopefully not a PvP event, but more of a PvE event where we work together to save the entire civilization on a planet. It'd be freaking cool if you ask me. All right, friends, let's talk about this one. This got me stumped pretty good while I was trying to do some research for it. Burning Sky set photos leak. What is this? I'll be honest, I had no clue why this was included. I still don't. My research turned up very, very little on this, but some of you might remember back in 2019, an image started circulating called the Burning Sky, supposedly a fiery new planet in the Piracy system. I wasn't around then, so I had no idea. This is all new news for me. But it turns out the picture was completely faked. It was just Mustafar from Star Wars Episode 3. I know you guys are probably going to correct me on the pronunciation of that. Mustafar? I don't know. It was photoshopped into a Star Citizen style screenshot with a banner defender. So I've got that picture up here now so you can check it out. It was apparently called the Burning Sky, and it was released to content creators apparently, and it became a huge thing, which was quickly kind of snuffed out by CIG as a fake. So what does this headline mean now? I don't know. It could just be a fun nod, or maybe it's hinting at something more. Here's a couple thoughts I had. Think of Burning Sky meaning a massive battle or orbital bombardment with wreckage raining down into the planet's atmosphere. Got the Apollo coming in, so great event for something like that, right? Some form of jump point malfunction, something catastrophic enough to scorch a planet's sky, possibly in Pyro, I don't know. Alien involvement, think of the Vanduuls using scorched earth tactics. I mean, we know they're coming in Squadron 42, but do we know they're only coming at that point, or could they come sooner? We've got Wicklow, who knows? Or maybe, with the other article we read about, another terraforming disaster, a planet's atmosphere collapsing in fire and chaos. That would possibly create a burning sky. These are just some of my thoughts, but I'd love to hear what you all think. What does the burning sky mean to you? Are you familiar with the whatever happened back in 2019 about this? Drop your theories in the comments below, because this one's wide open. Another headline tucked into this broadcast was a list of the most pirated ships. I had a lot of fun thinking about this one, and I hope you will too, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. CIG hasn't given us any official list yet of what these ships are, but it's fun to imagine. I'd bet the ships like the Hull series, the Raft, the Caterpillar, the Hercules, maybe the MSR would be prime targets. Anything that carries cargo, data, or high-valued goods. Or things like the Phoenix, the high-class passenger ship, the 890 Jump. Here's where it gets interesting, at least in my mind. What if CIG actually leans into this and makes this piracy more dynamic? Imagine NPC pirates going after those exact ships more aggressively. Not just random interdictions, but targeted ambushes because your ship is on that most pirated list. That would make owning certain ships feel more risky and more exciting, pushing players to hire escorts or fly smarter routes, or maybe not fly those ships at all. Or picture this. Players could get missions to protect high-risk ships when they're flagged in a system, or even contracts to steal one for a syndicate. It could evolve into a living economy where piracy isn't just a random encounter, but shaped by in-game data by us. And who knows, maybe if some of that's true, which would be really cool, we'll eventually get that list, or maybe we'll stumble across it, or who knows how it'll be relayed to us. And then slowly we start to see the mechanic build around it. If nothing else, it's a great excuse for us to speculate, which I love to do with this game, and I hope you do too. but it's enough for us to speculate on and to argue about which ships should be at the top of the chart. So I'd like to know what ships you think would be the most coveted by the pirates. All right, friends, there you have it. 5 little articles in a newspaper that not many of you have seen yet unless you've gone into the PTU, each pointing to potentially bigger things. Terraforming mistakes with MicroTech as our cautionary tale, complete with apex predators like a boreal stalker. How many of you knew about that? Protests on Terra planting the seeds for political unrest. A desperate need for medics that could expand into full career paths. The mysterious burning sky with roots in a 2019 fake photo, and maybe more to come. And a potential list of most pirated ships that could shape piracy gameplay. Which of these do you think will hit the game first, if at all? Are we about to see MicroTech evolve, Terra politics boil over, or medical gameplay expand into full-fledged contracts, which I'm really hoping for too? Piracy possibly becoming more dynamic, and the burning sky reveals true meaning. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I will be reading through those, and I will try my best to respond to every one of them. So I'm excited to see what you all have to say about that. Also, I want to remind you all about the raft giveaway still going on. We are trucking forward to the 500 comment mark. Once we hit 500 comments on that video, one comment will be drawn for the giveaway of that raft. So one of you will get a brand new LTI raft. Please know it's not in a game starter package. This is my personal ship. I'm just giving it away to one of you because I love you guys. Additionally, I released a new video series, the first one this past week here, called the CYA series, the Choose Your Adventure series. Check that out if you haven't had a chance to. The goal of it is for me to do what you tell me to do in a playthrough. You set the rules, you set the armor, you set the weapons, you set the ship, you set the location, you set the contract, whatever. Make it crazy, make it chaotic. I had a lot of fun making that video. Check it out if you're curious about that, but please don't forget to leave me a comment on what you want me to do next. You can do it together, or you can do it separately, individually, one comment at a time, specifying one thing, and the next comment specifying another, or you guys can get together and talk about it in the comments and give me a whole crazy ass thing to do, and I want to do it. So check that out. All right, friends, if you like this and you want more content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave those comments. I want to read them. Guys, I love you, and I'll catch you in my next episode. Take care and have a wonderful night.